Welcome to the workroom. Come on in, let me show you around. This is definitely one of my most favorite parts of the shop. This is the original general store counter and shelving that was here when I bought the building. And this was the first time I saw a picture of this wall. I just knew that this building was special and I knew I had to come see it in person. So I absolutely love the whole general store aesthetic, and I think this to me is just one of my most favorite parts. And what I love about it is that it is original, and it's just a great way to showcase all of my really fun, beautiful old things that I love so much. So let me give you a little close-up tour of some of the shelves. So over the years, I have been given some really beautiful vintage items, some that are just old and some that have to do with sewing, and this tiny little hand crank sewing machine was a gift from a customer that is just so sweet and special, and it came with the case that it's sitting on. So we've got a lot of the old fixtures, like this beautiful old scale from the general store that we just incorporate into a little Merchant and Mills notions display, plus this old other scale that we use as well. And then the back shelving is just showing off so many fun items that are a mix of vintage. This was my Somerset star from a workshop with Johanna Masco. This Liberty swatch card was a gift from a customer, Julia. Then we've just got some really fun vintage items. These were all part of what I left behind at the general store. I've got some of my letterpress wood type vintage buttons, of course. And then things like this little hand broom was here. I don't even know what this is. This was here. Some old signs, a few of my vintage scissors. Love a vintage tin. We've got a very fun print by Alana Kavanaugh, her little iron. Of course, there's lots of vintage spools of thread. A print by, actually this is the original watercolor by Crystal Zorzi of our last location on Queen West, 1267 Queen. That's a really special gift. And then this vintage Singer celery featherweight is definitely one of my favorite purchases, and it works. If you know our Parkdale location, you may recognize this cabinet. This was one of the first pieces of furniture that I bought for the workroom when I opened it in 2007. I bought it from Paul from Smash, from his first business. And this was an old school cabinet, and it's got sliding doors and sliding glass doors, but I've taken the doors off just to make it a little bit easier for display. But this was one of the things I bought before I actually even had a location. I think I just knew that I had to have it. So this has traveled with me to quite a few places, and now it's here in Sprucedale. This view is probably the view that most people are very familiar with. This is where I film and shoot a lot of my photography and my videos, because there's just really great light coming in from the front window. And we've got one of my all-time favorite pieces, this vintage seed cabinet, which I also got from Paul of Smash Salvage. I have gotten so many wonderful pieces from Paul over the years. I feel like he really helped me build the workroom aesthetic with all of these old, beautiful pieces. This one is so special to me. It is got all of these old seed packets and labels along here, and all of these tiny little drawers. And I think even in here, yep. And it even came with some actual vintage seed packets inside the drawers. It's just absolutely incredible. So this is, I think, one of my most cherished pieces, and I love that now here in Sprucedale it is sort of front and center and just the backdrop for absolutely everything. So this little vignette I just change out depending on what I'm working on or what I'm showing, what new product has arrived in the store. It's just really a wonderful place to shoot my photographs. And this piece here is original to the general store, and it was actually out in one of the barns, and I guess they didn't throw it away, but they also were not using it. So this is a beautiful old cubby piece that I just love, and it was just not being used, so now it's back in the store. I'm so happy. I love restoring and just preserving the history and all of these beautiful old things inside this space. At one time, this was a 3-floor general store. I think you could get in the basement. They had hardware, glass, all of the plumbing supplies and things like that. This floor was the groceries. There was a full meat counter, fresh produce here. And then the second floor was where they had clothing, soft goods, and one woman came in and told me that her and her friends used to come in here and try on the high-heeled galoshes and walk around upstairs. This building is full of so many stories. I wish I had photos of what it looked like way back when, but I've definitely been trying to keep and preserve as much of the history of this building and bring things back and use things that are inside this amazing space. What do you think of the Workroom Sprucedale so far? These are just a few of my favorite spots, and we haven't even left the front of the store. There is a lot to cover at the Workroom Sprucedale, lots of nooks and crannies, lots of little fun vintage details. Do you want to see more? Let me know if I should do a part 2. And don't forget, there's a second floor studio where we host our weekend handmade getaways and where I teach my virtual workshops. Let me know if you want to see that too.